Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori if you're new here, and today I'm going to show you 5 dip recipes. The holidays are coming up, sports are happening, and these are just perfect recipes for this season. Some are in the crock pot, some are in the oven, and one is even sweet. We are starting out with buffalo chickpea dip. What you are going to need is 1 can of rinsed chickpeas. You're going to need half an onion diced. You're going to need a block of cream cheese, so 8 ounces. You're going to need a half a stick of butter, a little bit of hot sauce, I'd say about a half cup, but it's really up to your preference. And then you're going to need 8 ounces of shredded cheese. So first things first, you're going to want to smash your chickpeas. I use the back of a fork. If you want to use shredded chicken in here, you absolutely can. I just prefer chickpeas. Then you're gonna add your onions, your hot sauce, half a stick of butter. I use the butter just to dilute the hot sauce, so if you like spicy, definitely don't use any butter. I'm going to layer this dip. I'm going to layer most of these dips. This is just how I like to make them. Go ahead and spread your cream cheese evenly on the bottom of your pan. I'm using a 9x9. And then bring in your chickpea mixture and spread that evenly. And then put your cheese on top. You're going to bake it at 400 for 15 minutes, and you can serve this with green onions on top, and my family likes it with tortilla chips. I prefer it with celery. The next is going to be pimento dip. Alright, so what you're going to need is a bunch of green onions. You're going to need a cup of mayo of your choice. You're going to need a jar of pimentos. They come in 4 ounces. You're going to need some cheddar cheese. You're going to need some green chilies and some cornbread. You're going to literally put every single ingredient into the crock pot except for the green chilies and your cornbread, and you're going to put that on high for 2 hours or until your sharp cheddar cheese melts, and your dip is good to go. So leave that to the side, let the crock pot do the work, and start on your cornbread. So you're going to dump your cornbread in, your green chilies, then you're going to put 3 tablespoons of flax, and you're going to put 4 tablespoons of water. Now that's a little different than how I made it in the past, but the green chilies do come in a little bit of liquid, so I am counting that as 2 tablespoons of a liquid. Then you're going to want to add a half cup of milk and a 1/4 cup of melted butter. So for me, that's about a half of a stick. You're going to want to grease your pan with some more of that butter. If you're new here, I really love the Country Crock vegan olive oil butter. It's super tasty. I suggest that you try that if you are looking for a new type of butter that is dairy-free. Then I'm going to spoon that into my dish. This is just a pie dish, and I'm going to bake it at 400 for 25 minutes. And then the way I like to serve my pimento cheese dip is just spooning a few tablespoons of that cheese dip over top of my green chili cornbread, and it makes a delicious appetizer, side dish, or main, whatever you want to call it. The next is going to be cheesesteak dip. I did not partake in this dip, but my husband's favorite food is cheesesteak, so I definitely like to incorporate that in most recipes. So what you're going to need is some shredded steak. My grocery store, King Soopers or the Kroger brand, offers this. You could use the frozen steakums if you wanted. You could really use anything. You're going to need a half of a block of cream cheese. You're going to cube that. You're going to need a ½ pound of American cheese, and you're going to chop that up into little blocks. You're going to need some onions and peppers sliced up. You're going to need 3 cloves of garlic. You're going to need 1 to 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, or again, however you say that. And you're going to start off with your pan. Put all of your steak in an ungreased pan. Follow that up with your onions, peppers, and garlic. And then top it with your tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, or whatever you want to call it once again. You're going to bake it at 375 for 10 minutes. Bring it out of the oven and then stir it up a little bit. You're going to want to put that cream cheese on top of the dip and then top it with your American cheese. You're going to put it back into the oven for an additional 15 minutes. Then you're going to stir it up. We like to serve this with baguettes that are chopped up and toasted with some garlic butter, but it is super delicious, and you could just put them on hoagie rolls and top it with some marinara if you wanted. The next dip is going to be Spinach and Artichoke Dip, one of my favorites. And I go the easy route and just make it with minimal ingredients, and I layer it just like I did the buffalo chicken dip. So what you're going to need is a half bag of spinach. You're going to need some artichokes and half of a white onion diced. You're going to need 8 ounces of sour cream. You're going to need a full block of cream cheese softened. And you're going to need about 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese. You will see that I'm not using Parmesan, but you can definitely add that in if you want. So take your pan and spread your cream cheese evenly on the bottom of the pan, and then season your cream cheese. So you're going to need garlic powder, pepper, and onion powder, and just shake that generously on top of your cream cheese. Then you're going to add a half of a bag of spinach. Then you're going to mix your sour cream, artichokes, and onions together. You're going to spoon that mixture on top of your spinach. You're going to put that cheese on top, and you are going to bake it at 375 for about 20 minutes. It really depends here, but I like to see my cheese bubble and get a little brown on the top. And I served mine with tortilla chips. The next dip is going to be caramel apple dip, however you want to say that. And this is super tasty. They can also be called caramel apple nachos. So you're going to need 3 apples diced. You're going to need half a stick of butter. You're going to need some cinnamon, about a half cup of milk. And then in here I have a half cup of brown sugar, and then I have 3 tablespoons of flax. And then for the nacho part, I have these flour tortillas that I have cut up. I'd say I have about 6 there. You could definitely use corn if you wanted to. You can use gluten-free, but we like the flour because they puff up in the oven. You're going to need some cinnamon and some sugar. Start off by putting your apples in the crock pot. We're going to do this in layers. So just half of your apples and then half of your brown sugar and flax mixture. And then the apples once more, and then your brown sugar and flax mixture. You're going to dump that milk in, and then just place that half a stick of butter on top of the apples, and that's just going to melt in and make it super gooey on the top. Very, very tasty. And then I forgot to mention, you're going to want to melt 1/4 stick of butter. You're going to cut these tortillas once in half, then next in half, and then at the diagonals, and they will form these little chips. You're going to just take some butter and brush it onto your tortillas. You're going to add some cinnamon. We love cinnamon, so you will see that I use a lot. And then you're going to add a sprinkle of sugar. Bake it at 400 for about 15 minutes, and they will come out just like this. You can serve this with the apple caramel dip on top. All right, that is going to do it for this week's recipe video. I really hope you enjoyed these. If you want to know how I use all of this dip as leftovers, leave a comment down below and I will let you know. Stay adventurous, stay creative, and I will see you next time. Bye.